There are 4 letters that can make you feel tingly. They can put you to sleep, or they can just make you feel rather strange. And they could be a source of work for voiceover artists. Let's dive in and take a look. Hello, I'm Gary. I'm a British voiceover coach and I teach beginners how to get into the voiceover industry. I hope you're in fine voice. Now, those 4 letters are ASMR. And let's take a look at what they stand for. According to Wikipedia, it's Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And it's a tingling sensation that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and the upper spine. It's a pleasant form of paresthesia. ASMR signifies the subjective experience of low-grade euphoria, characterized by a combination of positive feelings and a distinctive static-like tingling sensation on the skin. It's most commonly triggered by specific auditory or visual stimuli and less commonly by intentional attention control. A genre of videos which intend to stimulate ASMR has emerged, of which by 2018 over 13 million were published on YouTube. So there are an enormous number of these videos around, particularly on YouTube, and it can be anything. It can be the sound of, for example, someone cutting your hair, to the sounds of crinkly paper, like that. So there are quite a few sound effects on there, but I suppose the main area, and the area we're concerned with as voiceover artists, are the vocalization areas, and that's particularly in ASMR is concerned with whispering. So there's an awful lot of whispering going on. If you check out some of those ASMR videos on YouTube, you'll find that there is a lot of talking like this, very, very quietly indeed. And you might think, oh, what's the point? But they have a big fan base. It works for some people. Some people get a tingly effect when it happens. Others it doesn't. So it just depends on the individual, I think. But there is no doubting the fact that these things are very popular. Now, also in addition to that, you may find that you get an inquiry about doing an ASMR video. In fact, lots of my students have been receiving these or applying for them on sites like Fiverr and People Per Hour and so on. And they usually want you to be very whispery. And the question is ASMR a voiceover? I think it's a debatable point, but if someone's paying you for it, then it's fine. Yes, you could do it. However, what you're going to need is a stereo mic, or at least to record in stereo. Now, this goes against what we do in voiceovers normally, because we record in mono, because at the end of the day, you've only got one mouth, and we don't need to record in stereo because it doubles the file size and it makes it harder to edit. But in ASMR, you're going to be using stereo, and that's because you want a binaural sound, so that when a person is listening on headphones particularly, or earbuds, they can hear your voice moving around their head. So if you're whispering in one ear, it'll then go over the top of the head and then round the side. Now, there are some extremely expensive specialist microphones that you can use, and they're almost like big bulbous things, but they are really pricey. However, a good cheaper alternative would be something like a Blue Yeti. And that's because the Yeti has switchable polar patterns. So if I just go to the polar patterns here, you can see that we've got various shapes. So on the right hand side there is an 8 figure of 8, and that means you can record either side of the mic. Then we've got the cardioid heart shape, and that's the most relevant for voiceovers usually. We've got an omni there, which will record absolutely everything in a big kind of circle around the mic, so good for drama and so on. And then here we've got this sort of stereo symbol here, and this will be ideal. So probably either the omni or this stereo one here would be absolutely ideal for ASMR recording. Another option is to have 2 microphones rather than 1, or purchase a stereo mic. So if you had 2 mics, you could record on different tracks. You could make them sound like your voice was going round your head to some extent. Probably not quite as good as having a specialist mic, but not far off. And at the end of the day, it's going to be your closeness, your proximity to the mic, which will make all the difference. So as a voiceover artist, should you do ASMR? Well, it's entirely up to you. Personally, I find the whole thing somewhat creepy, and I can't quite literally get my head around it. But I know that it's very popular, and you may decide, well, actually, I'm rather good at it, and I'm very good at whispering. So could be for you. All right, thanks very much for watching today. Look after your voice, and see you next time.